Hey everyone, and welcome back. So I decided to actually do a news update today because there's actually a couple sort of odds and ends that I wanted to cover, as well as there are actually two new announcements today from Screen Factory, some new site exclusives that I did want to cover. And I just kind of figured, you know what, let me kind of wrap up some of this stuff before, because I still need to get to like a pickups video and a couple other videos. It's Friday, at least when I'm recording this, so I was like, yeah, you know what, it's a good day for a news thing. Even just gotta wrap up the week a little bit. So I do want to actually start off with, we do have two very quick updates from Second Sight Films in the UK. You know, nothing major, just some very minor updates, but, you know, two releases I'm very much excited about that are coming next year. So first up, a very quick update on their upcoming 4K release of The Hitcher. They posted this on their Facebook page, you can see here. The Hitcher update, very excited to have our initial grading session with director Robert Harmon next week. We will spend several months on the 4K restoration, which is scheduled for completion by end of February. A big thanks to Robert for all the support he's given us with the release. So that is great news, because some of you know that it was originally going to be just a Blu-ray release because the original negative was like nowhere to be found. And then luckily the negative was found, and so this whole thing got changed into a 4K release. So can't wait to get this, because boy, man, is The Hitcher long overdue. And then the next update, a very, very minor one, but still any update is important to me. And that is, of course, on their upcoming release of George Romero's Martin, which again is also a 4K release as well. And as it says here, Martin update in final authoring stages, pre-Christmas release date will be announced soon. So that's actually kind of surprising. I was actually thinking like, well, maybe it's probably get pushed back to the next year, but it looks like it actually could be coming by the end of the year, in which case then the, pre-order stuff and everything should be up pretty soon. I'm super excited about that. I know they did delay it, because I think originally it was supposed to be out earlier this year, but when the whole thing about that, the longer cut print came about, they sort of held off just to see if they could maybe get that, but obviously that didn't work out. Is a long story on that longer cut. Good news on that, because I don't know if I ever mentioned before, whoever bought that longer cut in the auction, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, donated it to the George Romero Foundation. So hopefully at some point that film gets some kind of release through the George Romero Foundation, or at the very least, I do know it's in good hands. But it's not going to be on this upcoming release of Martin, unfortunately, but that's okay. I mean, I'm just excited to have Martin in an upcoming 4K release. So again, more information when the pre-order goes up. And before I move on to a couple of the other titles, I actually do want to cover some upcoming Warner Brothers Christmas titles, actually, which I think some of you would be very excited about. One, which I think a lot of us absolutely love, and I'm actually pretty happy that it is getting a 4K release, of course, is the movie National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I can spit it out eventually. And that is set for November 1st. Now, I don't have any details, but from what I can tell on the sort of back cover, which I know doesn't list everything, it doesn't look like there's actually much on it as far as extras. It does look like it ports over the commentary track, but I don't know. It doesn't look like it has anything on it, anything new anyway. But I will say, I will give Warner Brothers credit for this one. It actually will have two English audio tracks, as a couple other languages as well, but as far as English goes, it has the 5.1 surround remix track, which I think has been around now for a while, but it actually does include the original stereo mix as an option. Thank you, Warner Brothers, for doing that. I know sometimes you can be a little iffy there. Or if you give it to us, you give it to us in a very compressed Dolby Digital file. But no, it's actually going to be a DTS file. So thank you, Warner Brothers, for doing that. So yes, very excited to have that in 4K. Can't wait to see what the house looks like all lit up, in HDR, assuming it's done properly, like Friday the 13th. That's a whole... Don't need to go back to that video. Already did that video. Another Christmas one coming November 1st. Also from Warner Brothers is the movie Elf. I know some of you really, really especially love this. Actually, my sister I know actually loves this film. And again, 4K presentation. It looks like it ports over all the pre-existing extras. I don't see anything new here. But it just says real quick, newly remastered in 4K. HDR presentation, and it does have a 5.1 audio track. And again, that is due out November 1st. Now, move on to, let's see, one more Warner Brothers title, actually. one I am super excited about, and that is coming November 8th, and that is the classic Casablanca, of course, coming out in 4K. And it looks like all the extras included are from the previous Blu-ray, which is okay because the Blu-ray, the extras on the Blu-ray, which actually made me go back. Some of those I think go back to the DVD. I mean, it's just jam-packed. I can't honestly, I can't think of anything else you could even possibly put on this release. So I'm not like, I wish there was new extras. There's a ton here. But just real quick, it does have an update on the transfer itself. So it does have a brand new 4K 16-bit restoration of the film, which was done this year. Newly restored original mono track, which again was done this year. And obviously it has an HDR presentation as well. And again, I am glad it does port over all the extras from before, including that fantastic Roger Ebert commentary. If you haven't listened to that, like, I highly recommend it, because he did a great commentary track for that, and was Citizen Kane. That's the other one. Like, those are fantastic commentary tracks. And again, that's due out November 5th. The cover that they're using, it's fine. It's actually not bad. I really like, whether or not they use the original poster artwork or the re-release poster artwork, which is actually one of my favorites, which was I think from the early 90s or something. I kind of wish they used one of those, but still, at the end of the day, I'm just happy to have Casablanca in 4K. And now we move on to Kino, and Kino has announced coming November 22nd is season 3 of Night Gallery on Blu-ray, which I'm so happy they were able to do the entire series. They did mention it, but I'm so glad that it actually did happen. And so so all 3 seasons now, especially in the 3rd season, is been completely remastered from scratch, getting new 2K masters, has commentary tracks on, it looks like, every single episode of the season, which is just fantastic. I'm so happy. Now, I admit, I really want Night Gallery on Blu-ray. I've actually held off on getting these. Although that may change. I don't know. If I see them for a good price, I will grab them. I'm kind of hoping that now with 3 coming out, that maybe they also eventually will offer just, a set where you can just get all the episodes in like one massive box set. It's kind of what I've been holding off for. But at the same time, if I see, all 3 seasons for a good price, yeah, I'll probably just go ahead and grab them. But I'm so happy. I'm actually a huge fan of Night Gallery. So yeah, I'm glad that they were able to do the entire series. And finally, coming on November 8th, of course, the next release in the Vestron line, Earth Girls Are Easy. They did finally announce the extras, which I will cover. I think some of these are actually ported over from before. I don't know which one of these are new or if they were on a previous release, but doesn't matter. There's a lot here, so that's cool. So as you can see here, it's got an audio commentary track with actress and co-writer Julie Brown. Bunch of interviews, including The Musical Man, an interview with director Julian Temple. Candy Time, an interview with actress and co-writer Julie Brown. Views of the Valley, interviews with director of photography Oliver Stapleton and production designer Dennis Gassner. Aliens in LA, an interview with special makeup supervisor Robert Clark. Featurette, Earth Girls Karaoke. A vintage interview with actor Charles Rocket. Vintage premiere night promo. Behind the scenes footage, deleted scenes and outtakes, theatrical trailers, TV spots, radio spots, and a still gallery. So happy that the Vestron line is continuing on. And now, especially at a reasonable price. Again, this retails for $17.99. As of this recording, it's not up for pre-order just yet on Amazon, but once it is, I'm going to get my order in. Because I know by the time it gets released, it's probably going to be like $12.99, which is like, more than perfect. And I did hear that there are more titles in the works, and there actually is going to be the very first Vestron 4K release coming probably next year. Don't know what it is. I don't know if it's going to be a re-release of one of their previous releases that has sold well, maybe one of their earlier releases, which would be nice. Definitely a couple possibilities there of what it could be. But obviously, if I hear anything, I will let you guys know right away. And now we get to the Scream Factory titles. So first up, they did release the details of the upcoming 4K release of Evil Dead, the remake of Evil Dead. Now that is going to be a 4K only release. It's not going to have a Blu-ray included, and it looks like it actually ports everything over from the previous Sony Blu-ray, because I think technically, honestly, if I had to guess, this is a Sony release, but it's just, instead of Sony actually putting out the 4K release, they're actually doing it through Scream Factory, which is fine. It doesn't matter as long as it gets out there. But it's nice, basically, that all these extras, including the commentary track and some behind the scenes and interviews and stuff, it's all on the 4K disc, which is good. If there's there's enough space on a 4K disc, which most of the time there is, like, I'd like to see it on there. But just real quick, it does have a brand new 4K transfer of the theatrical and unrated cuts of the film, Dolby Vision and HDR presentation for both cuts, and it has both 5.1 audio mix as well as a 2.0 stereo mix, and that is due out is September 27th. Oh, it's actually end of the month, so it's actually coming up. And then finally, we have two new site exclusive Roger Corman films that again, the site exclusives, which means two things. Obviously, you can only get them from the Shout Factory website. They're usually region A locked, which I believe both of these are, and unfortunately they don't ship overseas, so outside of the US. Unfortunately for my friends in other countries, you're gonna have to find another way to get these if you are interested. But the two new titles, again, I believe both limited to 1,500 units. First up is the Jonathan Demme film, The Hot Box, from 1972, and it's getting a new 2K scan from the best available film element, as well as a trailer, which probably means that the negative, unfortunately, is long gone, which I hate to hear, but at least it's being, saved on some way anyway. And then the other exclusive, which is actually one I'm excited about, this is definitely want to get my order in for this one soon, and that is the film The Warrior and the Sorceress. So the thing about this film, I'd actually mistaken another film for this one a while ago. This is the film, which some of you may remember when I talked about it a while ago. The reason why I know this film, because when I was a kid and I rented this on VHS, there's a character, which you can see here on the poster. It's a woman who has 4 breasts. And it's like a pretty impressive effects job. But also, even as a kid, it's like, oh, cool, she's got 4 of those. Unfortunately, there's no extras or no special features. There's extras, but not in the form of special features. But it does have a new 2K scan of the original camera negative. And again, region A locked. But what's cool about this one, the other one doesn't have this, but this one does actually come with an exclusive folded poster, an 18 by 24 folded poster of the artwork, which is the original poster artwork, which is cool. And again, both of these are available right now from the Shout Factory website, and again, they are exclusives and both region A locked. So that's it for this news update. Just a couple kind of odds and ends here and there. Definitely plan to get to some pickups videos and the update video, which I keep saying I'm gonna do, so definitely need to do that. But I have gotten a lot of stuff in, which I do want to cover, including this actually just came in, the new 4K release from Screen Factory of The Fog, which I do want to kind of go through. I haven't even opened up everything from that because I did get the bundle. Obviously, the only thing I didn't get was the figure because that's not due out till the end of the year. But I did get everything else, so definitely something to look forward to in that pickups video for sure. Hopefully you guys are interested anyway. So definitely let me know your thoughts on these announcements, and as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.